Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tech Informist. This is episode 69, recorded live on May the 13th. It's Wednesday, folks, Wednesday. My name is Kevin Harvell. I'm joined by Brad Whiteside. Brad, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic because
Awesome.
I have the day off because we're going to go see Neil deGrasse Tyson tonight at the Peabody Opera House. So,
Yes,
very exciting day.
Like we can't have an episode without you mentioning Neil, your good buddy Neil.
Yeah, I wish my good buddy Neil.
So you going to try to go up and see him after the show?
Oh, absolutely. I'll have all the time in the world for that.
There you go. That would be so awesome.
I
get to come back on Friday and talk. Yeah, shook hands. We're buds.
Yes, I would be a very, very happy nerdy kid.
Nerd in a candy store.
That's correct.
Love it. So for those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome. We're glad to have you, and hopefully you will stick around and be a regular full-time listener, as are many, many others. And for all you previous listeners that you're familiar with the show, we love you all. Thank you so much for listening on a daily and weekly regular basis. We're glad to have each and every one of you. If you would like to check out our live recordings, you can do so at thetechinformist.com/live. We record live on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We have a live chat. Sometimes we have people in there. Sometimes, like right now, nobody's joining us today. Sad Kevin. So if you are new to the show, again, welcome. The Tech Informist is a podcast intended to help inform you, the listener, about some of the latest news that we find interesting in the world of technology. With as much stuff going on, oh my gosh, it's tough to keep up. So maybe we won't touch on all the mainstream stuff because that stuff's just all out there. Sometimes we'll pull up the obscure things, and I think today we've got a few somewhat obscure things that you'd be like, oh my God, that is so cool. I'm so glad you guys talked about that. So hopefully we can kind of do a nice general mix of, yeah, we've kind of already heard that. So it's nice to have you guys' opinions, but it's also, oh my God, thanks for sharing that with me as well. So, and we would really like any suggestions on upcoming shows. You can, contact us on Twitter at Tech Informist, or shoot us an email, contact at the Tech Informist. Just anything possible. Just give us feedback. Let us know what you think, how we're doing, what you would like to see more of, what you would like to see less of. We're always open to suggestions to help make this a better show for you, the listener, which is why we do the show. Not just a way for us to talk about tech, but we want to just kind of build a community and just have a really good time doing what we love. So we'll go ahead and move into the tech news of the day. And which this is kind of funny. If you listen to episode 68, we talked about America Online and the fact that there's still approximately 2.1 million people still subscribing. Maybe they're not using, maybe they're just paying for it and not even using the service, which that happens many times when you subscribe to something and you just forget to cancel. It happens. So a lot of people may still be using dial-up service from AOL. But yesterday morning, woke up, and apparently Verizon is looking to acquire AOL for $4.4 billion. Now, that's pretty crazy because there's a lot more that goes into just America Online. It's not just dial-up service. As we mentioned a little bit towards the end of that segment, that if you were to go to AOL.com, you would see it's more of a Yahoo-style website. And AOL is actually the kind of parent company to some popular tech websites like Engadget and TechCrunch. So that kind of leads to some interesting, what is going to happen to those websites? Are they going to branch off into their own kind of site, or their own sites? Because maybe they write something that doesn't look good for Verizon, and surely you don't want to have that hanging over your head of, oh, we can't say anything negative about, A company or B company, or worry about kind of getting shut down or quote unquote punished. Brad, what are your thoughts when you saw this news?
Well, first of all, I thought it was really funny. Like you said, we just got done talking about it, and the next day, literally the next day,
Yeah.
they're like, "Hey, we're gonna sell to Verizon." It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's like
All right.
I don't think we've mentioned AOL on the previous 60 some odd episodes.
No, so we mention it once, and then they sell. So that's funny. But beside that, yeah, with AOL being more than just, like you said, dial-up, it would be interesting to see what they decide to do with the parent companies, or the not the parent companies, but like the sister companies, the Engadget and your TechCrunch. Like, are they going to spin them off into their own thing and maybe try to sell them to somebody else, or are they going to keep them and just kind of, hey, we have a tech site, you can go read things about maybe Verizon or whatever. But like you said, I don't think that Verizon, I don't know, I don't see them doing that, because what if somebody writes something that's not so great for Verizon? That
Right.
doesn't really help them. So, I mean, I don't even see these tech sites really helping them in the long run. It's not really part of their MO.
No. So, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be kind of curious to see where this all goes. And I mean, I know the deal's not even complete yet, but
No, but I mean, it's kind of out in the open. They're talking about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to go through. I don't see any reason why the FCC would stop them. There's nothing that's like substantial that would harm a consumer for them acquiring this. And
it's not like monopoly creating or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I see it going through. 4.4 billion is a good chunk of change. I had no idea that it was really worth that much, but I suppose, and when you factor in stocks and whatnot, it really gets up there. So
yeah, and I know there was a tweet that had went out yesterday, and I think I retweeted it on my personal Twitter account, which is at Kevin Harvell, by the way. That said that AOL bought something for like 160 billion or something like that so many years ago, and then here they are being sold for 4.4 billion.
Oh.
Just to kind of show the the value of things.
Well, that's like with Here Maps. Here Maps bought whatever the mapping company was, two of them, I think, and they bought them at like over 10 billion, and here they're wanting to sell off the map division supposedly for like 3 billion. So it's just kind of interesting how those drop in price.
Yeah, let's see. I'm looking through my Twitter feed just to see. Okay, 15 years ago, AOL bought Time Warner for $164 billion.
Oh,
and
wow.
And today, which was yesterday, AOL was bought by Verizon for $4.4 billion. And that was a tweet I retweeted from Derek Kessler of Mobile Nations. So I mean, that's a big, big difference there. 164 to $4.4 billion. Wow. Very interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. So, we're big fans here on the Tech Informist of Tesla and a lot of the great things that Elon Musk and company are doing. So, Brad, go ahead and talk a little bit about the story you've got posted in here.
Yeah, so I believe it was last week or the week before, he had announced that they were going to do the Powerwall and the Power Packs for your houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, since then, he's gotten 800 million worth of reservations for these batteries for your house, essentially, which is really insane to think about, because I think they do a comparison. So even, let's say, Tesla only converts 25% of that 800 million. That would be 200 million's worth. And 200 million would be like, let's see, the Tesla Model S and the iPhone launch all in one.
Yeah, generating more revenue.
Yeah, and I mean, the amount of revenue that is possible, being as they make their own batteries now, is just unheard of. And I mean, this goes to show that we're ready for something like this, because everyone's excited. He already has all these reservations. I mean, I'm excited about this. This is something that we've needed to do, but maybe haven't really had the right person or technology for it. I mean, until now. I mean, what do you think about the possibility of him having 800 million worth of reservations for Powerwall?
I think I'm not surprised at the fact that so many people would be on board with this because, it's something that is very necessary. And I'm hoping that what this kind of leads to is, as everybody know, and I know I beat this like a dead horse about, I'm a big fan of battery life on smartphones. And if for some reason they can figure out how to change the battery life in a smartphone or a tablet or something like that, imagine your smartphone being able to last up to like a week, or, kind of like, Pebble smartwatches being able to last like a week. I mean, could you imagine that? Oh, I don't have to charge my phone for like, 4 or 5 days or something.
Well, and right, and that's kind of the point. Like, all of this battery technology is starting to finally catch up with the rest of technology, and it's only going to help all of our devices. But I mean, this kind of changes the world because we can use solar panels to capture all that free energy from the sun.
Right.
Then we can, at night, use those batteries to power the rest of our house instead of relying on the monopolized, industry that we have in the U.S. of where we get our power from. Because as far as I know, you only got one choice.
Oh yeah, I mean, like for us in the Midwest,
Ameren.
we're Ameren.
Yeah. So I mean, you got one choice, and it's Ameren, and that's it. There's no other way to get power, and I don't like that. I think that this gives an option to save a little bit of money. I know the power companies are not going to like this. In fact, they might jack up rates because of this. But
as usage decreases and if they lose quote unquote subscribers, then they're going to have to make up for it somehow.
Right, and I don't know. I don't know if or how they could. That has yet to be solved. And I don't know if you could just solely live on these batteries like throughout the day. I guess if you have a small enough grid, or a big enough grid for a small enough house, you could. But it is very interesting. I'm definitely going to keep up on this story because I really enjoy watching him work and watching him, come up with these great ideas, like the what is it, the new train idea that he has with the tube.
Yeah, like kind of like the bullet
Hyperloop. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of a cool idea, being able to get from say for example us St. Louis to Chicago in minutes, like less than an hour. Just for example, if you can get there in less than an hour, as opposed to a typical train ride lasting upwards of 5 hours. I mean,
I think they're going to be pushing like thousands of miles per hour in the tube. The nice thing is, you're thinking, oh, wow, you're going so fast. Like, what if the tube breaks open? The nice thing is it's a failsafe. If the tube breaks open, the train slows down because there's a breach in the
the air pressure and everything that is being used to power this thing.
Yeah, so that's all those stories that are all about Tesla. I'll definitely be keeping up with those. I hope you guys enjoy those too, because I really do feel like he's changing the world slowly.
Yeah, and I mean they're releasing more and more car models. Getting the cost down for
so his
average consumer, but
his next one's supposed to be $35,000. That is extremely affordable for, I would say, 60 to 70% of maybe Americans.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it might not be as fast as some of these that you see on these, in these drag racing tracks where they're just blowing people, just blowing cars away because they're so fast.
But that's the interesting part about electric is you have instant torque.
Yeah,
and that's why you could actually potentially be faster than, let's say, a gasoline-powered motor.
Right. Which, I mean, you've been to Six Flags here in St. Louis, so the Mr. Freeze ride that, and it just like shoots you out of a tunnel doing like 70 mile an hour or whatever that is.
Yeah.
How fast. It's just crazy. So it's kind of what I've seen some videos where they're taking people on this test drive and, they hit the hit that one button or whatever, it just throws you back in your seat. They just instantly take off. And
Like your eyeballs are sinking into your brain.
yeah, you got these little old ladies that are riding with them, start cussing and stuff at them. like that is so funny. No, it's really cool stuff. And
I remember the first time I got it was like a 92 Camaro, and the guy had built, it was a friend of ours. He's like, hey, I'll take you for a ride. I was probably 11, 12 or somewhere around there. He's like, hey, I'll take you for a ride. And so he took me for a ride, went down the street, turned back around, and he stopped completely, and then did the whole like first, second, third, and it threw me back in the seat. And that was the first time I had experienced that in a car.
yeah.
And it was sort of a little terrifying because like the car's going sideways, peeling out, and then it just launches.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap.
But it's an experience, and if it gets you young enough, man, it just ropes you into being a car, muscle car guy, and
Oh, absolutely.
have that need for speed.
And that's the one thing that I'm kind of torn about, like electric cars. Like I think they're an awesome idea, and I really want to support them because I feel like that's really good for the environment. But the other part of me is like, man, the gearhead side of me is like, man, I really miss that V8 engine sound and the smell that it makes, and just all these other little stupid things that aren't necessarily good for the environment. It's I don't know.
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying. I know. All right, so moving on. This is a story that we kind of ran out of time to talk about on Monday's episode, so episode 68. But Apple wants your DNA. Now, that's kind of an interesting headline here, but this is from Popular Science, and it's talking about Apple's research kit, about the apps. They brought scientific studies to people's fingertips. Though the apps aren't yet foolproof, they allow eligible iPhone users to participate in scientific studies, recruiting thousands of participants at a speed never thought possible. Now, 2 studies out of the University of California, San Francisco, and Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City will release an iPhone app to recruit people for genetic research. Participants will send in samples of their DNA in order to better understand how their genetics connect to disease. As an article, according to an article published in the MIT Tech Review. So, I mean, we all know Apple wants to, kind of help better society when it comes to like health. It's one thing that Tim Cook has made sure to show off and pinpoint during their keynote speeches with the Apple Watch recently. Of all these different, Apple Watch has heart rate sensors and all this other stuff, and trying to make sure that if you're sitting for too long, it gives you a little vibration warning to, hey, you need to get up and move around, because sitting at a desk obviously is not congruent to good health. So it's very interesting. Apple will send them a spit kit for the sample of their DNA. The sample then gets sent directly to the institution conducting the study to identify only the 100 or so mutations that researchers are addressing. Now, this is in specific talking about cystic fibrosis. So, I mean, things are not going to be perfect, and this is kind of like some, not necessarily entry level, but it's kind of new to this tech category. So it's very exciting stuff that Apple wants to do this, and more research for all these diseases. If we could just wipe out things like cancer and cystic fibrosis and Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, that would just be fabulous.
Yeah, so as long as you're not creeped out by a tech company wanting your DNA, like this is actually, I kind of take the stance of Leo Laporte for this. Like this is actually really cool because sure, the headlines read, Apple wants your DNA, but it's not that creepy. It's more of, the more people we get to participate, the more things we can find out about ourselves, the more that we can possibly, like you said, cure things like, I mean, even cancer and cystic fibrosis and, all these diseases that plague, our society. I mean, they're still here, and it's, the 21st century, and we have yet to scratch the surface on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, Apple is definitely the company that has the funds to fund something like this and to get this done. And to be honest, I mean, I think outside of the Microsoft ecosystem, I do trust Apple. quite a bit. I mean, I have an account with them, and I do iTunes and all that, but that's beside the point. If they were to send me a kit and do this, and maybe I'll get a free couple songs out of it because I donated my DNA for research or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, it's a really cool idea, and I hope that they can get people to participate and that we can keep moving forward in.
Yeah, just trying to keep the paranoia levels to a minimum. Like, I was listening to a radio show and they're talking during their tech segment. A couple of people called in about, if I get on the internet, do I have to have an email address? Well, no, not really. Well, can I still buy things online? Well, typically the website's going to need an email address, kind of, whether it's as your username or a way to send you your electronic receipt. So kind of in a way, yeah, you do need to have an email address. And I know everybody's worried about, getting their, information hacked and stuff like that. But that's usually because you made a mistake somewhere along the line and you kind of left yourself open to an attack. It doesn't typically just randomly happen. But I mean, sometimes with credit card companies and things like that, their security gets breached, so that's no fault of your own. But there are definitely ways that you can take care of yourself online.
Yeah, so I not always, but I feel like some of the paranoia comes from misinformed, people. And I feel that if maybe they learned a little bit more, or somebody could teach them a little bit more, like if they listen to like Leo Laporte or the Tech Informist, or one of just somebody who maybe knew a little bit more about tech and has dabbled in it themselves, they might be a little more comfortable with the idea of an email or of Apple obtaining the cheek swab DNA tests, and they wouldn't be so bad.
I mean, it's like my dad, for example, when he needs something ordered online, he gives me the cash and I order it. He's like, I'm not dealing with it. I'm not messing with it. Like, okay, you're messing out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So we were talking prior to the show about this next story that you got in here. And I watched the trailer for this game. Wow. It looks good, and this is the first time I've heard of it. So go ahead and talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, so this is from IGN, but the title reads, "If Jurassic Park were an MMO, it would look like," and the name of the game is Ark Survival Evolved. So basically, this is a full-on MMO online, survival game. It's kind of like Turok meets State of Decay, but with dinosaurs. But it seems to all be in first person. So I've really, really been waiting for a nice, good dinosaur survival game. And you might say, oh, well, what about, Stomping Lands on Steam? Well, that game is now dead because the developers, for personal reasons, decided to stop, developing for it, and it never really was fully released. It was just greenlit for the preview program, and this gives hope for anybody who has that still younger inner child in them that still loves dinosaurs like me, and wants to play a game where you hunt them and survive like T-Rex attacks and just silly things like that. It really looks fantastic. I suggest you go check out the trailer for Ark Survival Evolved. You can check it out at IGN, definitely.
Yeah,
they have a few stories on it.
To it, but
yeah, for sure.
I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm familiar with Far Cry, and how it was one of those games that made you want to upgrade your hardware so you could play it in all its visual glory. And I'm sitting here looking at this and the skies and the grass and the lighting and everything. I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. So imagine like Far Cry, but with dinosaurs. I was like, this is just beautiful. So it was the first I'd heard of the game. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out when it does release, and whether I'm just watching somebody else play it or watching more videos. I might definitely get on Twitch and watch because God, it looks so good.
Yeah, it really does. And if it allows you to play with your friends, it's just gonna be even better. I really think that MMOs are going to be really big on consoles now because they have the hardware to run them. And
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, Neverwinter, the D&D game that's out on Xbox One now. I mean, it shows that there is an area for that because there are so many people that are playing that right now on the Xbox One, including half of my friends. So I think this definitely it's going to be out for. By the way, it's going to be out for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. So no like past generation consoles. So this is going to have some serious computing power going on behind it. So, which is good because it doesn't limit it as well. Um, but this looks very exciting, and I would definitely recommend checking out at least the trailer if you're into this kind of thing.
Yeah, I won't like spoil anything, but just imagine just saddle up on a dinosaur of your pretty much of your choosing. I saw a guy writing all sorts of different things in here, so
Yeah.
gosh, it was pretty impressive. All right, so let's move on to Google self-driving cars have been involved in 11 accidents. Now, these self-driving cars are not the ones causing the accidents; it's the people driving around them. People keep crashing into these self-driving cars. I don't. It is. Oh gosh, it's just whether people are texting and driving. Which if you do that, stop.
Yeah,
Just
shame on you.
stop.
You know better.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, these things have been driving around. According to some of the statistics, these self-driving cars have driven over 1.7 million miles. And that includes both autonomous and manual driving, with the auto driving taking about 1 million of these miles. So it's not stated in which of the accidents people were behind the wheel of the self-driving car itself, and more to the point, whether in any cases the human drivers may have prevented accidents by taking control from the autonomous car. But like they say in here, um, the robots do not tire. So as we've all been there, we take these 8-9 hour drives. Like for me, from St. Louis to Destin, Florida, or to Atlanta, that's about 8 to 9 hours, depending on how fast I want to go. You get tired. It's more of a because you're focusing so hard on driving, and it's not like you're physically tired. You're mentally tired, and I just really realized, like, man, I really was tired, but that was just because you're so focused and locked in on driving. So what was you going to say, Brad?
Oh, I was just gonna say, so as you all know, I'm kind of a little leery of Google sometimes, and reading headlines like Google self-driving cars have been in 11 accidents. I already automatically knew that they weren't accidents caused by Google's cars because I feel like we're going to be moving towards self-driving cars, whether you guys like it or not. I mean, for example, look at the new Mitsubishi Outlander. It'll brake for you before hitting a car in front of you if you're not paying attention. Or look at any of the Mercedes-Benz, like they park themselves now, probably better than most people can parallel park. So with that being said, they're slowly introducing self-driving cars to us. We just don't necessarily realize it. And
Yeah.
before time is said, shoot, 50 years from now, maybe nobody's going to be driving their cars anymore. They can actually get work done in the car while they're driving to work.
Yeah, which for me would be real nice, since I typically
Oh, that'd be
drive
fantastic. I mean, you
37
legitimately could
miles.
have an entertainment system in your car, play games, get work done, maybe even call somebody and have a meeting in your
Record a
car.
podcast.
Or, yeah, you could even do a podcast or listen to a podcast,
Yeah.
all while your car drives you. That, to me, is way more efficient than me driving myself. And, I used to really like driving when I was a kid, and I enjoy, joyriding every once in a while and just kind of taking in the scenes and whatnot. But my car could do that for me, and I could take more pictures then. And I don't know, I'm just not as fond of driving as I was when I was younger, I guess. But I'm excited for self-driving cars because I feel like it'll really cut down on fatalities. It'll really cut down on accidents. It'll save people a lot of money. I mean, a lot of it's just all good stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know it could be creepy. Oh, somebody could take over your car and run you off a cliff or something, but I'm sure that they've already thought of that, and there'll be fail safes to that.
Right. I mean, that kind of stuff's happened numerous times in movies. People cutting brake lines and stuff like that.
Exactly. So,
So,
I,
that would be nothing new, right
I
there.
mean, what if you got in your car and you're like, hey, drive me to here, and your car comes up with like all these warnings like, hey, just so you know, your brakes aren't working, so I can't take off. You're going to need to call roadside assistance and take me in for service, kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that would save precious dollars and time and even a life, maybe. So
Yeah, it definitely could.
I don't think we should resist self-driving cars because they're coming whether you like it or not.
Right. I mean, when we went on a trip with, me and my dad went, to that family function a couple weeks back. He kept asking me if I wanted to drive because he's got this. It's a 1975 Caprice Classic convertible. I mean, he's
Nice.
got a really nice deal on it, and it does drive like a dream. I mean, it's a really nice car. But he kept asking if I wanted to drive, and I'm like, no. He would ask all the time, like, you want to drive? I'm like, no. And it was because I enjoyed not driving for once.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't get a chance to really like look around and see things. I'm, always having to drive everywhere we go.
Yeah, if you're the primary driver in any of your families, it gets old eventually, and you might not enjoy it as much as you used to. I mean, some people still do.
Oh,
Don't
I
get me
love
wrong.
driving. Don't get me wrong. Just put me behind the wheel and I will just go, and
I guess it kind of depends on the car. Like I really enjoyed my 3000 GT that I used to have, but now I've got a Pontiac Grand Prix, so it's maybe not as fun to drive. Doesn't suck to the road the way my 3000 did. But I don't know. I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. I still don't get me wrong. I still love cars. I still love the way they look. I still love the way they sound. But it's just, I don't know. If I could get some work done while my car drives me to the ball game or something, that would be cool.
Speaking of cars, I would love to know what, if one of our listeners or just if our listeners have some really cool cars, I would love to see pictures and hear about them.
Absolutely. So Major Nelson actually just got the new BMW. It's like i3. It's fully electric.
Oh, yeah.
And he says that car is fantastic. He was afraid when he first got it because he wasn't sure if he'd have the range. But he's like, now he doesn't even think about it because he's got plenty of range from his house commute into Microsoft's campus and then back. And I don't know. I feel like we're going to definitely start seeing more of those.
So if you've got a cool car or something, shoot us some pictures and tag us on Twitter or something like that. I would love to see and love to know what it is you all drive.
Yeah, I mean, I paint cars for a living, so clearly I still, enjoy them. But yeah, we would really like to see some of those cool cars. If you guys, do have some, please send them in.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on, and this is a story we were kind of going back and forth before the show. Well, we don't remember if we talked about this or not. We recall discussing it. We know we've talked about it.
Yeah,
so we talk about it on a recording.
We talked about it before the show. I think we could be wrong. So if you guys have heard this before, you can tune us out for a few minutes. But I thought this was important because this really does affect me, and I know it affects our buddy JJ. Yeah. AT&T is bringing rollover data to Go Phones customers beginning May 15th. That's this Friday. Heck yeah. So this actually includes the $45 plan, which is me, and the $60 plan, which is JJ. And the Go Phone will be eligible for rollover data, and it'll last for the month, just like the rollover data does, for the postpaid plans. And this is exciting because I was really bummed because I moved the Go and then they announced rollover, but now they're announcing it for me for the rollover for the Go Phone. So I'm happy again.
Yeah, I mean, AT&T is really making it to the point that if you're going to be using their service, you might as well be going with prepaid because, I mean, this prepaid service with the Go Phone, and it's unbelievable. And I mean, taxes, just whatever it is. I believe whenever we had the $60 plans, we were spending like a total of $65, maybe even a little bit less. And that was fabulous. And that was when they were just giving you 2 gig of data. Now it's bumped up to, what is it, 4? And now you get rollover.
Yeah, it's 4 gigs for the $60 plan, and is this correct? 2.5 gigs for the 45? I always thought it was 1.5.
No, I think they did bump it up. Those on the $45 per
Well,
month.
apparently I have more data than I know what to do with now.
Yeah.
All right, I'm excited.
Yeah. So it's
I
another
thought
great
this was
service.
really important for you GoPhone people, especially for GoPhone is a nice cheap option, and you can get some good phones and put it on the GoPhone area.
Yeah,
And I thought
pretty
this
much.
was
I mean, any
important
phone, if you go to like swappa.com, if you're wanting like a Note 4 or something like that, I've actually been seeing some, because I follow Swappa on Twitter, and they'll post out, featured listings. And, I've seen Note 4s in fabulous shape for like between $400 and $500.
Right,
I'm
right.
like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Ugh. And of course, by the time I click on the link to check it out, it says the sale is pending. So I mean, somebody's already,
Already jumped
the
on it.
process of trying to buy it.
Yep.
So you've got to like monitor that site really good. And I really like Swappa. If you're wanting to get a higher end phone and save some money, it's a great way to do it. Or if you're looking to sell a device, it's a great way to do it.
Yeah, Swappa is a good one. I have not visited the one I'm about to tell you about, but I've heard good things about it. It's called Gazelle. And, if you maybe can't find something on Swappa, maybe check out Gazelle because they might have it too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, just keep in mind if you're selling on Gazelle, it's kind of like any trade-in thing. You will not get what the item is truly worth that you could sell on your own. So just keep that in mind if you're selling.
And that's kind of, how Gazelle is sort of different how Swappa works. Swappa is like you're selling, by yourself, whereas Gazelle, you sort of, I don't feel like dealing with that noise, so I'm just going to send it in and see what they give me for it.
Right.
I'm kind of one of those people. I just kind of like, I'll just get a few bucks for it, and that'll be that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't like dealing with waiting around for it to sell.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I completely understand that aspect. It's like, you know what? I can just go ahead and send it in, get $150, or I can sit here and try to sell it on my own to get an extra 25 or 30.
Right, exactly.
Depending on your time frame.
Right. It just depends what you want to do, but there's some good options. So definitely check that out if you need a nice device for your GoPhone, because now there's rollover data.
Right. So moving on to kind of the last story here, and Duet Display. This is something that's been available for Macs for a while, where you can use your iPad or iPad mini kind of as a secondary monitor to extend your monitor screen, what's on your display, to kind of like the second screen. Well, now it is available to run on the Windows platform. So if you have an iPad, you can use this for, it's $10. You can download Duet and use an iPad as a monitor on Windows PC. So you can use it as a secondary monitor. You got touchscreen and all that. So
that is interesting.
because I want to say, was it me and you talking about this not too long ago, just kind of off air or something?
I don't know. But
Actually, no, I think it was somebody here at the C.
Okay.
office. We were talking about that. But yeah, it was good. I've been reading this article from The Verge. Tom Warren kind of did a write-up on his experience, and there's a video with it as well. So he says he's used the Duet on the MacBook, and the Windows version. This first release does not feel quite as smooth at the moment. And one drawback is the limitation of a 1024 by 768 resolution, as Windows detects the display as a generic plug-and-play monitor. That means it's not great for viewing HD video, but with that said, it works the same way as the Mac version, and you can even use the touchscreen on the iPad to navigate around Windows and tap to click.
Huh.
So it may not be optimized just yet, but surely as they move forward with development, that the experience will improve, as you kind of would expect. So it's just another option for those of you that carry around you're invested in multiple platforms. You got a really nice Windows laptop, but yet you also use an iPad on the side to to do things.
I've always wondered, like, why the heck can't we use our mobile devices more often as mobile screens? Because, I mean, it's got the technology for it. I mean, that would be awesome to use like a Surface Pro or something as a
Right.
monitor for an Xbox One in the car. You know, if you're driving down with some buddies, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion, but I think that would be awesome because that would save time, money, and potentially the screen would be lighter than, let's say, a full-blown monitor if you wanted to bring that instead.
Yeah. Much, much, much lighter.
So this is really cool. I like this. It looks like he's running Windows 10 on the picture here in the top.
Yeah, he's
Then
doing
it looks
a lot
like Continuum recognizes like a smaller screen on the left. So
yeah, he's doing a lot of testing and stuff like that.
yeah, that's pretty cool. That is cool stuff.
Yeah, so that pretty much does it for the news of the day that I can think of. So we'll go ahead and move into the app and entertainment picks, and I'll go ahead and kick this off with a podcast submission called the Escape Velocity Podcast. Now, as we all know, I recently went to the New Media Expo and NAB conference in Las Vegas last month in April. And I actually met the host. His name is Ty Harmon, and he actually lives in Las Vegas. So we were talking about podcasting and things like that, and he told me about this Escape Velocity podcast. And I listened to it. Recently I listened to a couple episodes, and it's very interesting. Definitely something that you need to check out. The episode that I listened to was like the escape from planet depression. And each episode is has a guest to come on and talk about specific things. Like, his whole premise of this is, escape from the planet, depression, escape from the planet, something it's just try to like help motivate you with tips and ways to overcome certain things that you may be dealing with, whether it's personal or in your business life. So definitely check it out. It's very, very good, very well produced. I liked it.
I will definitely be checking that out.
Yeah. So go ahead and talk about what your submissions here.
So both of my picks are for the Microsoft Band because number one, I have one, and number two, I know a few of you guys do too. The first one really caught my attention because it's baseball season, and it's called Band Sport Style. So basically, you can choose between MLB, NBA, NFL, and NHL. No NFL. Oh no, I said NFL. All right, but you can choose between all four of those right now. They might add more later, and you can get score updates on your band instead of taking out your phone every time somebody scores. And you can choose up to 5 teams, so you can kind of pick your favorites in each little area, and maybe one extra. And then you have like a little tiles that you can choose to put on your band. I chose a baseball because I'm a big baseball guy, but it's a really cool way to just glance at some scores if you're working or on the run or whatnot. You just can't always bring out your phone to look at the score. So this one is free, so check it out because it's free.
Yep. Band Sport Style.
The next one is probably much needed because I don't think we have had anything like this since the band has launched, but it's called Walk Reminder. It's called Walk Reminder. And what's really nice is it's very, very customizable. So you can obviously pin this to your watch or smart band or band. We'll just call it band. You can pin it to your band, and then you can prompt it to remind you to get up every, let's say, hour or hour and a half or 45 minutes.
So similar to what the Apple Watch kind of does.
Yeah, exactly. And you can say, I really want to take this many steps, like 100 or 50 or something, just to get the blood moving again. And then you can even customize it to track when you want it to remind you to get up. So like, let's say you don't wake up till 7 a.m. It's not going to start telling you to get up till 8. And if you go to bed at 9, it's not going to tell you to, at midnight to get up and start walking because you're asleep. And it also says there's also a check mark for if you don't want it to prompt you to get up during like a meeting or an appointment or something that's in your calendar. If you're in the middle of something like that, it's not going to obviously prompt you to get up during that. So that it's really customizable, which is very good because it's much needed. This one is 99 cents, but if you're using Bing Rewards, you can basically get it for free.
Right.
So I think this is really good. I know Paul Thurrott, this is one thing Paul Thurrott has just been complaining about since day one, as it doesn't have that thing that reminds you to get up and get moving. Well, it's here, and there you go. It's 99 cents, and I don't think it's a bad buy.
Oh man, more and more I'm regretting selling my book.
Well,
as soon as I sold it, boom, all these great things start coming out.
Yeah.
And then I see Kyle Reddick down in Texas who bought it, and he keeps talking about the band. I'm like, that's my band. So I do regret it. I would not be surprised if by the end of this calendar year I do not buy another one. I will probably will be buying another one.
Well, you never know. They might have band 2 coming up.
Yeah, I could just wait for the band 2.
That's more what I would do, especially if it has NFC for payments. Ooh, buddy.
That would be nice.
That'd be trading in.
Yep, have a little trade-in thing. That would be good. So no, good picks there, Brad. I like that. Especially the sports one. I would definitely be all over that one.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they really caught my attention, and I just thought that maybe our listeners should hear about them because Microsoft Band is a really good choice if you're looking for a wearable.
All right. Well, that pretty much does it for this episode. So, thank you all for tuning in and listening to us talk and share our tech news and things that interest us.
Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to our AT&T rep person, Katie Nagus.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say thanks for the heads up on the email for the rollover data, because I actually didn't hear about that till you had sent me that. So thanks a bunch, and I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Yes. Fun. Yes. Always, thank you to Katie from AT&T and also Adriana and Brenda from Verizon. They send us a lot of devices as well. So, all right. But that pretty much does it for this episode. Again, thank you everybody for listening. If you would like to listen live, as mentioned earlier, visit thetechinformist.com/live on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And you can watch and hop in the live chat. I guess everybody's just been real busy here lately. This is kind of fun, folks. We like the live interaction.
We do. It just seems like Wednesday, people don't seem to get an opportunity to pop in. So.
Yeah, it's just, I understand, it's during most people's work time, so it's kind of tough. But
Yep.
It happens. You can find me on Twitter at Kevin Harvell. You can find Brad on Twitter at Holy_Shadows. And you can also find the show on Twitter at Tech Informist. And depending on where else you would like to follow us at, just simply go to your favorite social media platform and search for Tech Informist. And I guarantee you will find us pretty much everywhere. And also comment, suggestions, feedback to contact@thetechinformist via email.com. So we look forward to next episode. We will be back on Friday. And until then, consider yourself informed. We are out.
Take care, guys.